Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Live Vibe Coding with Will Melton. I am Will Melton, and I'm your host. I do this every weekend on Saturday at 1 p.m. and Sunday at 10 a.m. until I get to 52 apps here in 2026. Now, I did not go live yesterday because I was at the AI Ready RVA board meeting, which was lovely to do. It was a very productive meeting. If you're not familiar with AI Ready RVA, go check out AIReadyRVA.com. We're building a community here in Richmond to help bridge the gap for folks who might need some help with the whole AI revolution. So it's a really great organization. We've been able to build something really world class, and I want to say that we're probably one of the leading AI literacy organizations in the nation. So, in any event, I'll talk a little bit more about that today, just briefly, as we get into building out my speaker website, which I have now, willmelton.com. Not my studio website, but my speaker website. But we're going to replace that in very short order with a newly designed site that I've been working on. So that's what our game is today. This is also a Channel RVA production. If you're not familiar with Channel RVA, that is the home for all of the media that I create, as well as home for independent creators here in the Richmond region. We have a lot of creativity here, and we're welcoming folks who want to make a name for themselves, who want to tap into our audience, and we want to grow audiences together. Hey, how you doing, Mohammed? Thanks for joining me here. Today, I'm going to go ahead and get my screen shared and show you what I'm working on. I've got a lot of things cooking over here, so let me get the right view going. All right, here we are. This is Lovable, and we are leveraging Lovable to build applications and websites. And Lovable is it's a tool like many others. There's lots of different website tools out there, but I find it to be more than a website tool because what we're getting is we're getting an assistant who can help us to do a lot of different things. And I'm going to hit this review SEO button right now because I want to be able to know what the situation is here, but we will find out. We want to make sure that when this goes live, it's going to be something that can get picked up by search engines. So that's going to run in the background while I chat with you guys a little bit here. And what we're going to do is kind of get into the guts of what motivates this website. So we'll go over real quick to just willmelton.com so you can see that. This is sort of an older site that I have been working with. And it's good. It works. It's a nice site, but it's not what I really want to have. So redesigning it. Been working on this for about a week or so. There's some things going on here. I thought that was. Let me just take a look at mobile. 15 minutes request booking info. Okay. So today, what we're going to do, I'm going to talk to my agent here really quickly. Today, I would like to focus on migrating the rest of the assets from willmelton.com over to this website, and I would like to introduce some slight design improvements, but I'll articulate those in another chat. I want to add a booking agent, a chatbot that can answer questions and also creates a little bit of fun and makes it easy for people who come to the site to find out whether or not we are a fit. I want to articulate that we are charging fees for speaking so that we aren't fielding too many requests for pro bono talks. I do some pro bono talks, but I do not have time to do many. So that's something that we want to make sure that we work into the FAQs in addition to having that be just a core foundation to how this site unfolds. I want to leverage the presentation functionality that we have and wire that into the database and leverage the presentations as a means of keeping a history of the talks I've given. And I want to similarly leverage it to uh, highlight the talks that I will be giving coming up. And so that is, oh yeah, we're also going to wire this to my Stripe account so that I can capture a booking deposit for engagements. Of course, before we ever book anything, there will be some human interaction. Everything won't be completely automated, but we could be uh, working on building out the billing functionality so that they have a nice experience on checkout. I want to get some past history wired in of talking, speaking engagements and their titles, who the entity was that I spoke to. I'm also going to be integrating a conversion mechanism with OnScreenGames.com, which will give you a script for to embed on the site so that we can test that out. Let's make a plan and add it to the product roadmap as individual tasks so that we can assemble a sprint and execute. Okay, so let me see. I'm going to go into the admin of this website. Hey, Michael, how you doing? Thanks for joining me once again. I don't know what this is. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to pop into my product roadmap over here and see what we've got. We'll let that go. This is taking too long. I'm not sure that I have an account with this site yet. I have been kind of walking it forward in gaps between other projects, and I kind of dabble on things on the weekends, or sorry, on the during the weeks in the morning sometimes, and maybe lunchtime throughout the day. Poke at things while I'm waiting on other projects to work. And sometimes I'll work in the evening. I generally don't work too much in the evening unless there's something I need to do. I'd much rather wake up early and work early in the morning. But let me tell you guys a little bit about this website. So it's not. I'm always looking to solve problems. So this is designed to be a improved design and to improve the likelihood that I'm going to actually get booked for speaking engagements. And so that's the main motivation here is getting this to be a productive marketing tool for my speaking business. However, I also have, um, I do not like building presentation decks. I don't know anybody who does. I guess there's probably somebody out there, but I don't know who they are. We are kind of living in an era where we don't necessarily need to design them anymore. So I have created. Hold on a second. Okay. Um, I got to answer these questions. I'll bring it back to my train of thinking here in a minute. Okay. So anyway, I have built into this a presentation functionality so that I can build presentations faster and um, really focus on the contents of the talk. I do a lot of work in my brain to marry the topics that I present on to the audience that I'm speaking to. And in a lot of cases, that's the starting point. There's going to be sometimes a lot more prep work, research. We'll get a lot of materials from our clients sometimes that will get incorporated into the talk so that it's highly aligned with what they're working on. Some cases it's really loose and it's going to be interactive and fun. Usually a combination of both. But in any event, here's what these look like. So trying to spend less time on design and more time on, again, the contents. And so what I use presentations for is to guide my conversation. I do not read from the slides. I leverage them as just a way finding tool as I go through the talk. And a lot of what is on these slides are things that have come from my brain. Now, there might be some data that gets into these slides depending on what we're talking about, but it's going to be, motivated by a desire to explain to people why this idea is something to pay attention to. So, I have found Lovable to be a really great tool for building slide decks. And so, I have a number of products where the slide deck is built into uh, the website itself, and whether that's behind a password or if it's open for folks. One of the things that I need to do today is actually make it so that I can make the individual talks available to people who I've given them to while making sure that they're secured to others. And so it's like a tokenized access. But that is one of the things that we can be working on. But right now, the goal is to get the populace. Um, I'm curious to know if it's going to populate the roadmap like I asked it to, or if it's just going to uh, do the work. We'll see. I told it to put it in the roadmap, but it seems like it's still inspecting. One of the things to know if you do build in these is it can take a little bit of finagling to get the authorization to work, especially if you're using Google. Not sure why, but authorization is one of those things that has always been challenging for Lovable. Now, what I will tell you, what I wanted to tell you anyway, is that just because it's a challenge inside the preview window does not mean that that challenge translates to the published website. There are two ways to get Google authentication into your project. You can either leverage the connector that is present inside of this. So it's not visible here, but I'll show you actually inside of Cloud. We can see our authorization settings. Oh, wait, where is it? I can't remember where this is, to be honest with you. You know? It's been a little while. They changed all this stuff up not too long ago. But let's see, auth settings. Oh, here it is. There we go. Top right hand corner. You have to click auth settings twice. So we have email enabled, but it's not visible on the login screen, so we have to fix that. We have Google enabled. And here's the thing I wanted to bring your attention to. You can do the manage by Lovable, or you can bring your own Google Cloud OAuth credentials. I tend to like to do this because you're going to have a much more controlled experience where you can, intents and purposes right now, I'm just going to keep this. But I will be indicating that there's a problem with login. Actually, no, I guess it did finally get me in, but it does not have the roadmap. And I guess that might be because I didn't populate a roadmap. So I think what's happening is it's just executing because I didn't wire that up yet. Product roadmap is pretty heavy lift. Typically, I use it in all my projects. This project is fairly light in nature. It's going to be a information marketing website with a contact form, maybe an external embedded conversion form, and then chatbot. So while that is working, and this isn't online yet, so it's just kind of no big deal in letting these big sprints go. Let's see. So what I'm going to do is come over here to OnScreenGames.com. So what I have been building over here is I've been building a. Let me see if I can get into roadmap, a conversion tool that is. I don't know exactly what it looks like because I haven't tested it out yet, but let's see what I want to do. Okay. I've got some pretty decent sprints cooking on this build, but I don't know that we'll be able to get to the conversion mechanism today, but I do think that we'll be able to get a chatbot built in pretty quick. So we'll see that all built out. We got a chatbot already, so that's good. I kind of like that. I guess the chatbot isn't fully functional. Let me see what it says. The chatbot is not functional, and I'm curious if the chatbot is leveraging information that's published on the website as a means to answer questions, not just guessing. Perhaps even leveraging the collective thought leadership that I've published to be able to answer questions about the range of topics that I can speak on. I also think it could be good to have some suggested starts. So it's not just an open-ended tell me about your event, but we can give them some sample starts, like sales luncheon is an example talk that they can have. Just they can click on that, give them another start that says what topics does Will speak about. I also want the booking to take place directly in the chatbot, not the booking, but the 15-minute chat. And I want to wire that up to my calendar so people can actually get booked right on it, Google Calendar. All right. All right, so that was a natural segue into the next event there. So let me just keep an eye on this other build. I'm going to stick these next to each other so that I can see this. Here's actually an example of a talk that I gave yesterday, 2 days ago. Yeah, 2 days ago. Any event. Yeah, these are going to be improved as well. There's some more design improvements. Like this one's supposed to have space for some screenshots and whatnot, but I didn't get them in there because I didn't have the ability to present the deck, which was fine. That's cool. I forgot about that. All right. All right, let's do this. I am going to make a quick improvement to my own studio website. This is what happens when you're incredibly ADD. No, I'm kidding. I think that it's important that we recognize that we don't have to wait to fix things. We don't have to do everything ourselves, but I'm going to come back to that here in a minute. I've got a couple of things that I want to improve about that. All right. Anyway, let's just see. I was trying to find out what my domain was that it was verified, and it is just exponent21.com. So let's see. That's fine. I don't want anybody to collaborate on my personal website. I don't know why I'm typing instead of talking to you guys, but basically, there's two sides to the on-screen games business. It started out with just a way for us to tell a story about games and how they help people convert. But now we have started to create a flexible widget that people can deploy on their website. And it's, sometimes it's going to be games, sometimes it'll be calculators, quizzes, conversion forms. There's a lot of different things that we're going to build into this, but we're going to just really start with some evidence-based conversion mechanisms, add some creativity, add some fun, um, make it easy for people to deploy these things and at a reasonable price. So that is always, let me see what the pricing says here. Yeah, I think this is right. I'll queue that up. Thinking about making Pro the most popular because if you know anything about pricing psychology, um, if you're going to present three prices, generally speaking, your two top price tiers are going to be pretty close to each other to make it easy to bump up into that pro type pricing category. There's certainly other pricing strategies that are available, but this is a freemium tool and it's designed to give people the ability to deploy and to see some data, but then, really encourage them to pay for the full kit and caboodle. The return on this is going to be astronomical for most people. I think what we're going to end up doing is building just a quick calculator for people to help them see in the pursuit of thinking about this what the potential upside would be by plugging in their numbers. So just a little thing here as I'm reminding the chatbot what we were talking about in a thread before, and I'm just going to say go ahead and I'll queue that up. So after the redesigned admin screen is in place, This is great. So, one of the things that I've been doing, I have a couple of standards that we have been working into our projects. One is that we would have a tour that would give people, um, there's a couple of problems with this that I'll talk about in a minute, but give people a tour to help them understand how things work. Um, but it should be advancing people to the right screen. And I haven't seen this yet, so we'll just do a test. We'll just say mountain.com. I don't know what the hex code is. We'll stick with that for now. Oh, we got some errors. All right, well, that's cool. We'll figure this out here in a minute together. So, to give you a little bit behind the scenes on my brain, as I sit here and think about what I'm talking to you about, I'm thinking about other elements to this. Like, okay, well, if I am a company that has multiple websites, for instance, I might need to track those websites in different buckets. And so there's like another layer to it. Then there's another piece to it, which is like, what about agencies? You know, why wouldn't we want to create an agency license that allows them to make widgets for their clients? And one of the things that we can make available is, you know, a price point that gives them the ability to unleash unlimited widgets on their client websites. There's a whole network effect to this that we can implement if we really get smart. So that's what I'm thinking about in my head. I'll have to try to think a little bit more about how to articulate that and to create that additional layer of control. But I think the best example that exists is something called high level. Um, so let me just um, articulate that over here. We're going to go to Claude. And I want to go to my projects and to live vibe coding, and I'm going to see if I can't find OnScreenGames. Okay. Okay, here it is. So I have been thinking a little bit lately about ways to create added value in the world and to reduce barriers to access to the things that I build. One model that I think is interesting is to be able to create a cascade of ability. So we can create a license for agencies that would allow them to extend this widget functionality to their customers and charge them a fee, perhaps, if they wanted to do that, but give them a branded portal where they can invite people, you know, give them a place where they can set up a CNAME record to get their domain to resolve like the proper way. But just creating additional pathways to revenue and value creation for us and making it easier for marketers to be able to do what they do in the world. We want this tool to be world class so that it is something that is easy to adopt and easy to get in front of clients, and that gives us a foothold potentially. Help me think through this I have seen this work with a company called GoHighLevel. It gives unlimited sub accounts to their uh, agency partners. Tell me what I'm not thinking about, or how will we frame it for this business? So this is the way that I think um, about business, not necessarily about applications, but just business in general. How do you construct a value case that is going to appeal to people and make people feel compelled to convert? You know, the conversion, the act, the art of converting is multifold. It's the visual elements, the UI, it's the experience, it's the UX. It is price. It is timing, order. There's so many things that we have to think about. I'm just reading through this. Okay. Yeah, this is always a challenge. Is like when you're doing any kind of multi-tenancy. Um, we're already at multi-tenancy because I have well, it's not really multi-tenancy. I just have multi-role, but uh, the multi-tenancy is going to add some complexity. But the good news is, uh, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. That creates a lot of challenges, but that's the point. You know, we were thinking about all of this stuff. So let's see. Let me see where I'm at over here. All right, so let's see if I got a calendar invitation. Sure did. That's cool. I think it's just amazing how quickly you can make all this stuff work. Not all the suggestions work. First thing I tried was what topics does Will speak on, and it didn't result in any answers. And with that, that's a reminder for me to say hello to new folks. If you are joining me for the first time today, visit studio.wellmelton.com to follow along on my journey to build 52 apps in 2026. 40 total built. So I had 6 built last year and 34 so far this year. So we're making some good progress. Got some others to add in there. We got my personal website that we're going to add in there. We have some. I think we're going to do an expansion to OnScreenGames because there's 2 sides to that business now. I've got a couple more that we'll add in there. I'm not trying to be doing this all year, guys. No offense, but we're getting busy, so I need to regroup and make sure that my team is ready to handle all of this that's coming our way. But I will not stop creating because that's what I love to do. All right, so we're going to see how far we can get with OnScreenGames. So cool. Which one of these did I want to do? All right. And channelrv.com. I'm working on some different designs. I'm going to actually go over to Lovable, excuse me, and take a look. I was working on this yesterday a little bit. But we have V5. I'm not sure that I'm crazy about this, but we're starting to kind of reimagine a new homepage for Channel RVA. But that is, again, the place where everything lives. Again, I don't know that we've got all this stuff going on. I can't remember what I said yesterday last. We've got that. I guess we have a V6. I don't remember if I looked at that or if I had to get away and had some family things yesterday. So happy Father's Day to the fathers out there. Yeah, this is pretty cool. I haven't seen this. Or I did, I forgot. This might actually be something I kind of like. I have to work on it a little bit. There's a lot of wide stuff here that could be condensed into 2 columns, but um, I think that there's some coolness to this. So anyway, I'll work on that more later. I don't know why they keep putting the damn women's soccer photo here, but it's okay. Oh no, that is women's national team. Okay, never mind. Let's go back to where I'm at. Fix the widget creation. Quiz. wellmelton.com. Continue. Create the widget. Let's customize it. So that we can cut down on the duration of build here. I'd like to have you build a widget for willmelton.com, which is a speaking website for myself, a professional speaker. I'm looking to help people think about topics and also types of engagements. Want to align with their goals for their event. And so the name of the game is to encourage them to either book time with me or to, yeah, it's always going to be to book time with me, but eventually, we want them to indicate an interest in a particular topic, I think is maybe the big goal. Tell me what you need to know. And we're going to do a quiz. So here's my advice. I could give this more context. I could tell it what I've got going on over at willmelton.com, and I did a little bit, but not a ton. I'm curious to see what the agent's going to be able to come up with, and I don't mind answering some questions. What I'll do is this. Thankfully, I built a chatbot in already, so um, so the reason I'm asking the agent instead of answering the question is because it's going to take me longer to answer the question than it's going to take the agent. The agent actually has the context of everything we've built, the motivation of the business, can look at the code, can look at the content, and that's why I'm doing this. Now I'll be able to validate what it spits out and say, yeah, I want that, or no, I don't want that. But that's my goal here. And of course, it's going to give me appropriate questions that I can then answer and customize the response. And so that is you know, it gives me an opportunity to talk to you about my thought process and how I use the agents, with each other. Um, and I need to just wait for this to answer the question. I'm looking inside of my widget studio and I see the widget that I just told you to modify, and it has all the same information in it that was previously present. Either that or the preview is not effectively um, working because it's not showing the actual questions that are inside the engine. And then I feel like we could probably do something to add some more flair to these and some animation and toggle those things on and off. It can also give people an opportunity to upload their logo so that gets incorporated. And I want you to go ahead and give my user account the highest level license that we have so I can use all the features. All right. So, as you guys have observed, if you've been following me for any amount of time, I don't finish everything that I start right away. It takes a little bit of time to get some things going here, and that's what is happening for me. I'm not rushing into anything, but let's see where we are. All right. All right, let's see. What do we want to do today? I got a note here. I've been reminding myself to let's just see. We should have something that talks about upcoming talks, maybe some kind of ticker or something at the bottom. Go into my email and find the email from Emily that talks about my talk on September 14th for Virginia Economic Development Partnership. I need the details of that topic. All right. So if you're not using Claude to find your emails for you, I don't know why not. That is such a gift, but I need to find out a couple of talks that I've got. Let's see. Okay. Um, please proceed with the animations. Please proceed with the animations toggle and logo upload. Execute without stopping. As we think about the front end content on this website, um, I want to keep the headline and the hero and everything intact, but just generally the language and the direction should be geared toward this target audience. And it should also be something that we are, um, always constantly leaning toward defining the opportunity as confident leadership in this transformative era. So, for people looking for someone prepared to inspire the audience and motivate them to tap into the opportunity of the future. Um, I just want to make sure that it's as compelling as possible for these people and that we are aligning with the different types of talks that I might be helping people with. Yeah, it just didn't capture any of that. This is why I use voice memos. I want to make sure that the language on the website is geared toward the target audience defined and toward action. And I am pitching myself as a confident leader who can bridge the confidence gap in defining a direction forward with artificial intelligence, whether it is making decisions to solidify a marketing strategy that actually wins, or if it is leveraging artificial intelligence to inspire new ideas, new product solutions, innovations, disruptions, uh, or if it's to leverage AI to develop technology that helps you to scale when opportunities introduced through marketing growth or um, through the sale of your new tools and new offerings. So the goal right now is to um, all right. So what I'm doing right now is I'm capturing some instructions. I'm capturing our target audience. And let's see. Okay, so I'm condensing all these instructions into one thing so that I can So what I'm going to do is I'll give one more voice prompt here. I had a conversation with Claude and told it some of the things that I'm thinking about, and this was the direction that it gave. I do not want to follow this direction verbatim. What I want you to do is consider the directions given, review what we have on the website so far, and come up with a plan to make revisions to the copy and the order and the layout and whatever else is necessary to be able to effectively improve our success rate in driving conversions. Okay, so back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. All right, turning on planning. Okay, so a lot of back and forth with these agents, and I'm doing it manually. I certainly could automate the workflow a little bit, but again, I'm using different agents that have different contexts that bring that kind of rich thinking together and amplifying it by kind of going back and forth from one to the other. So it's it's going to be a process for me to see what it comes up with and to figure out whether I agree with the recommendations. But I'm hopeful that it will be a clean recommendation for how we can get that implemented and just click OK and say, let's go. But I will tell you, I'm going to probably wrap up in about 15 minutes, about 11:30. Enjoy this beautiful Sunday while it's still here. Hopefully, you guys have some fun plans cooked up for the afternoon. Got a good lunch mapped out. Oh, hell, I'll let it go. This isn't live anywhere, so. And I can actually see here, unfortunately, that my screen is frozen. Let's get this guy refreshed here. That's an old view. Here we go. I think I might have too many windows open here today, so I'm going to close some of these guys out because I do believe that that is part of the reason why I'm having some challenges with buffering and whatnot. So try to close some of these guys. We'll come back to that one. Close out all that stuff. Okay, cool. Hopefully, I haven't been stalled on this for too long with you guys. All right, let's see where we're at with this build. There's going to be a lot more that will work into these conversion mechanisms, but as I look through it, it looks like we're doing pretty good shape. Whenever I select an animation style in the widget configurator, I should have a preview of that animation. So please wire that up. All right. I forgot about this site. This is this player over here. I really want to bring this in. All right, 10 more minutes, Ari. A couple of issues that we have on the hero is that we are now no longer fitting inside of the viewport without scrolling down. I'm not sure that this quote is the appropriate one to show people based on our target audience. I'm not sure why the as featured in doesn't scroll automatically like the one above. It should be the same behavior. It is abundantly AI slop to talk about something being a Monday move or just another Tuesday. So I want you to remove all of that theming. It's too cheesy. It's not aligned. And then where it says a builder publicly shipping, not a researcher describing the wave from shore, it is AI slop to say what something is not. It's not prose that we use. It's not part of my tone. It's not acceptable. You actually have access to my tone that I use because you can read all of my thought leadership. But I really think that the headline and the hero, lastly, is probably the biggest problem because it's really long. I mean, it's true and it should be in here. And also, like, this whole need to directly call out who we are speaking to. The intention of telling you that wasn't to tell them that, it was to align the text that we're writing to those audiences and to their needs. And so that was a little bit too literal. You can't have text that's cramming up on a button like this. Shit needs room to breathe. I honestly think that leading the AI revolution was a better headline for the hero. Okay. So, very much in control of my writing. But I like to get a start, and I like to So there's other issues that I have, and we'll figure this out as we go along. I mentioned earlier that the presentations that we have in presentations should be contributing to the talks that are published on the talks page. Also, it is disingenuous to indicate that there are only 3 signature talks. I think 3 signature talks, 1 operator is a AI slop headline, so we need to fix that. Also, we do not have any future or recent events in the record of work. I think it's important that we show upcoming and past and separate them with a separator line and some other kind of visual indicator to indicate what's upcoming. All right, let me give one more prompt over here. I was just taking a look at the notifications for our subscribers, and I noticed that they're not on brand effectively. They are a little bit um, lacking in their uh, color matching, and again, it's just not on brand with the overall Will Melton Studio website. Can you design an update and please send me a test notification about an upcoming stream to my email? Okay. Oh, wait, that's the wrong thing. All right, so let's just recap here today. Working on my speaker website, getting that in a better place. More work to do here to get it to where I want it, but we will continue on. A little bit in progress here on our widget functionality that we're going to introduce here soon, and I'm going to start testing. the playful animations and the bold animations have identical animations. Oh my gosh. Playful. Okay. I'm going to wrap up today because I am in need of a meal. So it's a normal thing for people to do, using their brains. There's some stuff that we'll do on this to make it even better, but right now I think we're in a good place. I'm not quite ready to replace the site that I have, and I don't yet have a place to put those videos, but I'm going to get that in there here shortly. And I've got a video sample from earlier this week that I can use. I've got some YouTube videos that we can pull down. So I've got something that we can grab. So thanks, guys. This is it. Have a great day.